I didn't even tell you guys about this.
It's like I actually got a letter.
No, but this is legit. So I was doing breathing exercises, right? The other day, like actually I was like doing some really deep focus, like meditation, breathing exercises. And I triggered something like in my body, like, and I recorded. I'm gonna have to get, because after a little while I started recording it because I'm like almost like this is an experiment, because I've read about breathing exercises to try and get to like a hallucination state versus in all these other
Pranayama,
reasons that
yoga.
people might do to get it. But so I had been doing it for a few minutes. I was doing I started off doing this one thing where I was trying to, basically do an exercise breathing in as wide as I can, basically inhaling my lungs as much as I could for a while. So I probably did that for a couple minutes, and I'd hold it. Almost like with the idea of flexing, thinking my lung is a muscle and just like flexing in as much as I could to fill up the space. So I probably did that for a couple minutes. And then I started just trying to see how long I could, with that kind of stretched out lung, aspirate, get myself to breathe fairly rapidly. I was thinking about how much like when I run and kind of breathe in, then like, okay, I can actually probably do this longer than I expect because of how much I run.
Were you holding your breath at all in between, or were you just in and out?
I was doing that, and I was mixing it up a little bit, right? So I was kind of just going, but let me get to like what I triggered here. And so after doing that for a while, I don't remember if I came inside here because I was laying on my couch doing it. Oh, and then I started doing a mantra more because it was weird. Anytime I would, like, my mind start thinking about what Stephanie comes here, like, I'm doing weird. I started getting tingly. It's like, okay, that's interesting. But then eventually, like, my arms and hands totally crimped up like this, like totally tense, and my face got tight, and I couldn't barely move my face. And like I'm sitting there, and like I'm not, and I start crying. Not like I'm crying, but like tears are coming out of my face. I'm like, I just triggered some weird, like, and I'm open for it. I'm like, okay, because my whole point was kind of just thinking about what you can trigger your body into, whether it's some kind of healing or I don't know. I didn't have like a target. I wouldn't plan. Yeah. I didn't come into this whole thing trying to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't read about this. And so after doing it, and I have to get the video and show you, because I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, and my hands were all crimped up, and I was literally trying to unclench them. And it was like I was fighting through my own muscles to overpower myself from the inside. And I was just like, okay. I'm like literally like fighting through myself. It was the craziest thing. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm just trying to like get it back to normal. I'm like, it's kind of doing it. So I'll just start walking, moving around, trying to get circulation. Then I'm thinking, okay, I haven't had water in a while. Water is probably a factor that would maybe help me get my mobility back. So it was late enough I was able to go over there in the kitchen and get water without Stephanie even knowing anything. I'd come back over here and I'd chug a whole big thing of water, and I'm moving around more and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm kind of figuring out that was definitely a factor. But and then I was like, okay, if I sit back down and do it again, can I get myself back into it? Because I was like, okay, how much can I control it doing that? And so I was able to sit down and like get to breathe and get it to start doing it again. And I swear, and I have to get the video because my fingers were crimping so weird. It was, and I was almost just like, it was like, this hand was like this, almost like I was pointing. This hand was like this. And I was just like having all kinds of thoughts like, okay, is it, if I move my hands, are they pointing at something? I'm not making it. And I got footage. I have to show you this. And so, because it was like each hand was a little different. I'm like, I thought that was weird, but I could come up with reasons trying to think why they wouldn't be identical with what they were doing. Yeah, but all that to say, I drank water and I stopped. I breathed normally, and I stopped messing around with it at all, and I was able to get back to normal. And then so it's like, okay, I'm gonna figure out exactly what it was.
I think I gave myself palsy.
No, so I'm gonna figure out exactly what this was. So it's called tetany.
Like a side effect of basically hyperventilation.
Here we go, yeah.
You depleted the oxygen.
Something
from
about
the blood.
oxygen. Yeah.
No, it's like the opposite, I think.
Too much oxygen.
What you described sounds very much like tetany, Tetany, brought on by overbreathing, hyperventilation. Very common reaction when people push vigorous breathing techniques a bit too far, too fast. So I guess what's happening inside my body. So rapid, forceful breathing, you exhale CO2 faster than your body is producing it.
Yeah.
So 2, drop in blood CO2, respiratory alkalosis. Blood pH rises, ionized free calcium in the blood falls temporarily. Suddenly involuntary muscle tightening, especially hands, forearms, and around the mouth. Which is exactly it. And then the third step, sympathetic surge and diaphragm fatigue. Muscles all over tense, heart rate may spike, tears can flow as facial muscles contract, and the lacrimal glands are squeezed. Clawed or rigid fingers, tight jaw, face, chest pressure, sometimes tremors. And so, then there's like other factors that might make it easier to lead it on: hydration and electrolytes, intentional breath holds or forceful exhalations, which I was just doing all kinds of mix. But emotional release, deep meditative states sometimes bring up strong feelings, crying. So I was kind of just trying to do it like a whole meditation journey to see what kind of. Because actually I had the mindset of just trying to do like an internal body healing by just putting it through a crazy amount of stress to try and trigger it to like want to recover in ways that I don't even know.
Yeah,
is that
positive?
You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah.
And so, honestly, I feel like I got some of that from it. So, how to keep your practice safe? Well, basically,
hold your breath.
How I got there, I was happy to get it, but it was nuts, dude. I have to show you the footage because literally, like,
I imagine
it was nuts. It was cool, but I had no idea that I could just trigger that like that. It wasn't like I just did. It was probably like 10 minutes at least of like various crazy breathing.
Because exactly. You have to have it long enough to where it even takes effect. Because it's not doing it a couple of times isn't going to do it. It's like you have to do it for.
Yeah. So tetany, man, you should try it out, brother. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, I mean, that's all of the breath is powerful. It's super powerful. And it's like they have the whole thing called pranayama yoga. I believe is how it's pronounced. Pranayama.
Sounds right.
Which is based pretty much around, a lot of it is based just around the breath and doing different breath work to induce these states of, what they believe to be higher consciousness, stuff like that. But they have different techniques in that have been like kind of, they've been perfected throughout time, to the extent to where they know how to like get closer to inducing these specific states. But also it's one of those things where like they say it's like it's important to have somebody who a guru in a sense that knows what they're doing to where
definitely,
because people a lot of times with shit like that can get super confused at like what is happening with their body and what they're experiencing and they don't know how to navigate it. And it's one of those things where like
if she would have seen me, she would have called 911. I'm not even joking.
Exactly. And I was just going to say it's one of those things that, like, if you don't really know what you're fucking with, you can confuse yourself pretty easily.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so then I was kind of trying to learn more about, looking at it as the potential healing aspect and, about breath work being used to try and get into, trip states.
Yeah.
And so I was able, basically, a lot of the breathing... Basically, I was just confirming kind of what I was thinking with the whole process with it. Kind of like shows when people hit the peak of breath-induced ASC, the brain signal complexity rises in the same way under classic psychedelics. And so it seems basically confirming what I was kind of thinking and had in mind the whole time. But so it was, it was as wild.
Did you hear that recently at one of the major schools or something, Harvard or fucking something like that, maybe not, could have been Stanford, I don't know. Somebody has like, they did some studies with LSD, where not just taking it, but they pretty much.
Oh, I think
they pretty much added something to it or whatever to where it neutralizes the hallucinogenic effects.
You get the benefits from it without going crazy.
So you get all the to where you're not like you get
saw that on my feed.
Like you said, you get to where it's almost like the people were comparing it to like the movie Limitless.
Yeah,
with Bradley Cooper, where it's like that pill you can take that kind of gives you, that ability to, like you can still operate. You're not tripping fucking balls, but like, it gives you that ability to see things.
I saw that article, but I didn't read it. So you read it. So it's
you can look it up because again, I mean, I don't know what you could just type in recent LSD studies or something, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But yeah, they did some type of experimentation with it, and in that something he added to it or whatever suppresses something else to where when you take it, you're not tripping your ass off, but you're getting the benefits that would come with an LSD trip. That's a fun interesting
because I wonder how they measured what the benefits. I'm just curious. And I want to see. Yeah, so here, this has to be it. Researchers developed the new neuroplasticity promoter, so it deals with the neuroplasticity.
Probably done some type of a baseline test or
whatever.
And
then you're right.
Tested them again as, while they were on it.
Yeah. So University of California, Davis researchers developed a new neuroplasticity promoting drug closely related to LSD that harnesses the psychedelic's therapeutic power with reduced hallucinogenic potential. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so highlights talking about schizophrenia. Let's see, designed for drugs. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I almost bet it. Kind of like, was that a few months ago? I was talking about
that
the
was
neuroplasticity.
The atoms.
Yeah.
That was it. Researchers flipped the position of just two atoms in LSD's molecular structure. The chemical flip reduced JRT's hallucinogenic potential while maintaining its neurotherapeutic properties, including its ability to spur neural growth and repair damaged neural connections that are often observed in the brain of those with
psychiatric and neurodegenerative diseases. Okay, so
so it's like it can heal the brain too.
Yeah.
To like kind of help, but you're not tripping your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
So it's a way of giving these people that have these brain injuries or brain problems and shit like that, like, or even technically before you get them.
Yeah. Or the critical period. Like, remember a few months ago I did that whole thing about critical periods and neuroplasticity periods? So it sounds like it's basically getting the brain to that state of higher plasticity where it lets it basically heal from things. Like, imagine it's addiction is probably one of the things that it deals with trauma. So I'm thinking it's those benefits and not as much cognitive or IQ.
Yeah, look, it says schizophrenia. Look, it says go down. Scroll down a little more.
Yeah, right so no one really wants to give a hallucinogenic molecule like LSD to someone with schizophrenia. So the development of this drug emphasizes that we can use psychedelics like LSD as starting points to make better medicines. I'm telling you, dude, and with AI,
be a lot
if
easier.
If there is a limitless drug, they'll be able to make it.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I just thought it was super interesting that they would,
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's the thing. It's like
it's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's funny I had to share that because like otherwise I'd forget. It's just weird things. It's like almost like, wow, should I tell somebody about this now? It was kind of late. It's like, it's just kind of. It's just something you almost have to experience.
Real quick, I want to talk about it. I watched. I need to finish the last little bit of it because I was gonna wait for Allie to do it because I watched most of it with her. I watched pretty much the whole fucking thing with her, but she was crashing out last night, so she's like, "I'm gonna go home." 28 days later, I had never really watched 28 Days Later all the way through.
Oh, right. Getting ready for the
28
years.
So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and watch 28 Days. And it's interesting because too. It was
So you
like,
haven't finished it. You said correct.
No,
You're
I have a
waiting
little
for
bit
the
left. I have like a very small portion left, but I've seen a
It's
lot
cool
of it
because you don't.
It's
You
a
see the
great
penis
movie.
at the very beginning, correct?
Yes, and that's what we're. As soon as that happened, and she was like laying with her back towards me on the bed, and like looking at the TV. And as soon as like you saw his
And wake
penis
up
in
in
the
the hospital?
beginning,
Yeah.
I just like put my hand over her eyes, and she was like, "Hey, hold up!" I was like, "No." It's like we're not just gonna look at penis on screen.
I know, but that is one of those scenes where he wonders, like,
Why?
but okay, I kind of.
Why?
I can quickly
don't.
come up with the reason. I think
I don't.
the birth being born. He was born into the world. So I wouldn't do it. It's pointless. But
I get it,
Him
yeah.
being like the only one
A
and
metaphor for
wake
birth.
exactly waking up
Why
from a
not
world
have
and
him-
it's a new world. He was born.
That is very true.
Why not do it like
I was gonna
Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura too?
Yeah, or they
You know,
could've-
have him come out of the come out of the
You
rhinoceros.
can make the
you know?
point of naked without dong needing to be
Rebirth.
there.
Have him just take a shit too, because that's a part of life too.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
shit
somebody
on
slaps
camera.
him. Somebody slaps him on
You
the
know?
ass, and he takes his first shit.
Yeah.